This is your Barbados Today morning news update for Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. Thanks for joining us. I'm Carol Williams. The death toll from Hurricane Dorian has risen to 7 in the Bahamas. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis announced the updated figure in a national address last night, saying he expects the figure to rise further. On Monday, he'd announced 5 deaths, but said an additional 2 persons who were among more than 20 airlifted for medical assistance have since succumbed to their injuries. Dr. Minnis took part in an initial assessment and reconnaissance of the Abaco Islands and said they were awaiting the all clear for this to be done in Grand Bahama. He says some areas have been decimated.
The southern aspect of Abaco has suffered less devastation than the north. The Sandy Port area and progressing north has not suffered as much devastation as was seen in the Marsh Harbor vicinity. The National Airport in Abaco is underwater. The runway is completely flooded, and in fact the area around the airport now looks like a lake. Marsh Harbor has suffered, I would estimate, in excess of 60% damage to the homes. The mud, as we know, has been completely destroyed or decimated.
The Prime Minister says the primary focus remains on search, rescue and recovery. Additional security personnel are being deployed to the affected areas. Authorities began delivering food to residents of the Abaco Islands last night, with further assistance planned.
Planning is underway, and well-resourced rescue teams are waiting for safe conditions to carry more food, water, and necessary health supplies to residents there. There is an outpouring of support for those devastated by Hurricane Dorian. NEMA is the central agency for disaster relief and recovery efforts. I ask all those who want to assist with relief supplies to coordinate with NEMA. This is vital to ensure that relief supplies and aid are delivered as effectively as possible, and to ensure that these supplies get to those most in need in a timely fashion.
Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley, along with CARICOM Chairman, St. Lucia's Prime Minister Alan Chasney, will travel to the Bahamas tomorrow. Heartbreaking and horrifying, the reaction of Bahamian students at the Cave Hill campus of the University of the West Indies to the devastation. They tell Barbados Today they feel hopeless being so far from home. Most have had only occasional contact with just some friends and relatives.
We've seen images of sharks and fish swimming on the roadsides or outside persons' windows, people with 2-story houses, water coming up to the first story. We've seen people with babies outside with no roofs trying to go from one house to the next, wading in water. Persons have reported bodies floating in Abaco without being able to retrieve them during the storm. A lot of persons are missing. We got a confirmation of a report of an 8-year-old boy who had died as a result of the storm, and his sister is missing. It's a lot that is going on, and it's really heartbreaking to watch.
The experience for me being over here and not being home in the storm, it's hopeless. It's a sense of hopelessness. Although I'm from the island of New Providence, we had a lot of flooding on that island, although we were not severely affected like Freeport and Abaco. But I have friends and family members that are experiencing flooding, and to feel hopeless like that is like you want to be there to do something, but you can't really stop water. So
I'm all the way in Barbados. There's nothing you can do. Like for me, back home is only my mother. So I'm here and my mother's by myself. The only thing we can do is just pray and hope for the best. But it's worrisome though, because you're so far, you want to do something, but you just can't, just distance.
Also received word from family in Abaco that most of them are okay, but we did receive word of loss of life in Abaco. And I kind of just wanted to take a minute to thank the Cave Hill family as well as my friends here in Barbados, friends and family in Barbados. People have been reaching out and everyone has been standing in prayer with us.
The Barbados Defense Force has begun compiling a list of the items it could be asked to ship, but it says it's not yet ready to start warehousing relief supplies. And as Barbadians look to give assistance to their Bahamian neighbors, the head of the Regional Disaster Management Agency, SEDIMA, is suggesting cash contributions. Executive Director Ronald Jackson told the media yesterday that there's much uncertainty about the needs at this time.
Certainly what we encourage people to do at this stage is to provide their support in the form of cash donations, because that's the best thing that you can do in the face of uncertainty. But it also reduces the burden, because we know people are all wanting to support, and so they may be doing their relief drive to collect items at different locations, but that then has to be packaged and shipped and received, unpacked, repacked, distributed, and that takes time and it takes additional resources. So nothing is too small. So if you can convert that into cash contributions, you can do one of two things. You can provide it within the emergency fund that SEDIMA has, or you can direct procure. So if you want to support water operations, you can direct procure those at source in Nassau, close by, and have that delivered to Nassau for distribution. It's a cheaper cost, it's more efficient in terms of the logistics operation. So in the face of uncertainty, cash. And with cash, you can do a number of things.
Information on the SEDIMA Fund can be accessed on the agency's website, cdema.org.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Barbados Today, news you can trust.
And finally, Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam, yesterday denied asking the Chinese government to let her resign to end the Chinese-ruled city's political crisis. She was responding to a media report about a recording of her saying she would step down if she could. More from Reuters TV.
Your answer does not arise. I have never tendered any resignation.
Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam was forced to respond to a Reuters special report on Tuesday. The report included leaked audio from a private meeting. She's heard telling a group of business people she would resign if she could, and that she's stuck between two masters.
For a chief executive to have caused this huge havoc to Hong Kong is unforgivable. It's just unforgivable. If I have a choice, the first thing is to quit. Having made a deep apology is to step down. The political room for the chief executive, who unfortunately has to serve two masters by constitution, that is the Central People's Government and the people of Hong Kong. That political room for maneuvering is very, very, very limited.
Lam's resignation is one of the key demands of protesters who want her gone after she tried to pass a hugely unpopular extradition bill that would have seen suspects sent to mainland China for trial. It's since morphed into calls for the people of Hong Kong to be able to choose their own chief executive.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook. And sign up for breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Mix 96.9 FM and Capital Media HD 99.3 FM. I'm Carol Williams. Have a good day.